right, well, as people are trickling in, I guess we'll get started. Welcome everyone to Lunch Without Lunch. My name is Amber Rowden. I'm the community storyteller at Rainforest, Alberta, here in Calgary. Let me hide my panels. Sweet. Okay. So yes, welcome to Lunch Without Lunch. If you are new to Rainforest, Alberta, to Lunch Without Lunch, please throw an emoji on the screen, drop your information in the chat, introduce yourself, put your LinkedIn, what you're looking for. Yeah, we want to get to know all the new people, and if you've been around for a while, also introduce yourself in the chat. That's how we make those connections and collisions. Feel free to follow us on social media and at Rainforest AB and Rainforest YEG if you're in Edmonton, and share what you loved about today and what you're excited to learn about. So I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, the Kainai, the Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. For those that are in the Edmonton area, we acknowledge the traditional lands of the Treaty 6 territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, Nakota Sioux, as well as the Métis. Thank you for your enthusiasm and commitment to joining us in demonstrate leadership on reconciliation. And if you're coming from somewhere else in the province, the country, or the world, please share a land acknowledgement in the chat. And if you'd like to share a land acknowledgement at the beginning of Lunch Without Lunch, please feel free to reach out to me or Bridget Legault, who's our community manager at Rainforest Alberta and Calgary, and we'd be happy to have you do so at the beginning of Lunch Without Lunch. So Rainforest Alberta, we're a community of dreamers, doers, innovators, and entrepreneurs, and anyone you can imagine that are helping each other, supporting each other on their innovation, entrepreneurial journey by building a culture of trust and diversity and lifting each other up. So here's an introduction video on what Rainforest Alberta is.
What does it take to realize an idea, or for a seed to sprout? At Rainforest Alberta, we know the answer is rooted in trust. Traditionally, Albertans have cultivated their ideas in established systems. Inputs that don't fit these systems are weeded out. Opportunities for growth are missed. But now, Albertans want a dynamic landscape that can evolve organically, like a rainforest. At Rainforest Alberta, we believe a culture of trust is the fertile soil where ideas grow. Our budding innovation ecosystem is a network of relationships pulling each other up as they push forward in their own field. Trust breaks down barriers. An open, inclusive network increases collaborative innovation. Successful breakthroughs inspire new ideas. A cycle begins. Rainforest Alberta is a movement to amplify trust by cultivating honesty, inclusion, and accountability. How? Our social contract holds us accountable to demonstrate trust across the province. We meet to have honest conversations around collaboration. This leads to more inclusive spaces for everyone to fearlessly build new ideas together. By raising the standard of trust, Alberta's ideas, talent, and resources can be evergreen. Visit rainforestab.ca to sign the social contract and start growing together.
So we use 6 pillars to guide our conversations and actions, and like any ecosystem, not all are weighted equally, and the right balance is crucial. So we measure these each year through our scorecard assessment, and this helps us see the strengths and weaknesses within Calgary's ecosystem. So we measure culture, and it's the most heavily weighted one at the rainforest, and it's weighted at 30%. Leaders are 20%, resources are 15%, engaged activities are 10%, policy and infrastructure 15%, and role models are 10%. So tips to making the most out of Lunch Without Lunch. And yes, it is Lunch Without Lunch, but if you have lunch, please feel free to eat lunch. We don't want anyone to go hungry, and it is lunchtime. So introduce yourself in the chat, what you're working on, what you're looking for, what you can offer. It's all about getting to know each other, making those connections. So please take the time to introduce yourself. You can connect with individuals through direct messaging. Put your camera on. It's great to see everyone's face. and get to know the name with a face to help build those and grow those connections. Ask questions that lead with curiosity. So we always want to lead with curiosity and curious about what each other are doing rather than offering suggestions or advice. Ask questions and connect on our digital community, which I will go into in a couple slides here. And check out lunch notes for capture of today's chat. This is on our Slack channel. And Lunch Without Lunch recordings are posted on YouTube. So if you want to check out any previous recordings, or if you missed a part of today's session, you can go back to YouTube and check it out. So each week we talk about a social contract value, and our social contract is an agreement on what it means to innovate together. There are 10 values that we live, work, and play by. It's really a commitment to being a good person and giving back and building that culture of trust. So this week's value is fairness. And so I will be nice and treat everyone fairly. I will take advantage of no one. And so if you scan that barcode, you can sign the social contract. I'll also throw the link in the chat. And once you sign that social contract, if you haven't already, you will receive an email, an onboarding email that will connect you to our digital community. It will take you to our events, and it will also give you a link to our Slack channel as well. And although we don't use the Slack channel as often, it still has all the lunch notes, it has events, it has resources, and it has a connection to the community as well. And so if you have a question, if you're curious, we're all about leading with curiosity. If you're curious about questions, our digital community is the place you can be that'll match your questions directly to someone that can give you that answer. If you're curious about tech and innovation, you're curious about, looking for an investor, if you're looking for a co-founder, if you're looking for programs, resources, kind of anything you can imagine, this is the place to be. And I think I can announce this now, but there will be an anonymity feature. So, asking questions can be a little scary. So just to encourage more questions, you will be able to ask your question anonymously to, encourage more questions. So that launches, I believe, this week. So if you want to check that out, we highly encourage it. I will throw the link in the chat. And if you have any questions about our digital platform, please feel free to reach out to me and Bridget. I'm going to stop sharing. And today we have Daniel from Catapult Startups that is going to be sharing his story and how the power of free help has helped in his journey to where he is now. And we're very excited to have him and hear about what he's doing in the community. He does a lot of really awesome things, and I really love, connecting and hearing from him. So I'm really excited to have him share his story today. And with that, I'll pass it on to you, Daniel.
Thanks, Amber. Thanks, Amber. Thanks for the introduction. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get the presentation going. Okay. All right, just a second. Okay. Okay, can everybody see?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna go quickly here, well, not too quickly. Here's kind of like a timeline of different kind of events throughout my life that I had no idea that I was doing, and some that I kind of knew that I was doing. And I'll explain here in a little bit. So the first thing you see here is from 1990 to 2002. I was at Shriners Hospital. I know a lot of people can't see because it's a camera angle, only see my torso or my shoulders. But I was born with one arm and one leg, and actually went to the Shriners hospitals to get my prosthetic leg and my prosthetic arm. And one of the things that the Shriners Hospital helped me out with a lot was seeing other kids like me living normal and healthy lives. But because I was from Peru, I'm from Peru, and I was going to the hospital there in the States in Miami, I had to quickly learn English. And a lot of kids, they were coming from Latin America. Yeah, a lot of Latin America didn't really speak English. Sorry, they couldn't speak English. So I unofficially became almost like a translator for them. But then through that kind of help and just helping out the kids, I also started helping out kids that had lost an arm or a leg or gone through had gained a disability through motor accidents. One thing, it's losing a body part, going through a traumatic event like that. Another one is being born this way. This is all I know, so to me this is no different. But someone going through a traumatic event like that, it is different, right? So, and just talking to them and seeing how it could help them out, really 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 kind of helped me get a sense of like the power helping people. And what's it called, how you can, like, put a smile on someone's face. And that kind of just moved on through my university. From university, it took me a little longer to graduate, 2008, 2014. In those years, I joined a lot of clubs and also joined a fraternity. And those clubs and the fraternity really kind of showed me the value of just helping others without expecting anything in return. And I really, really honed that. And so you can kind of see there's like a blimp in the timeline. So 2008 to 2014, and then you see 2013, TEDx Calgary. Well, why is that kind of there? Well, I was also, while I was finishing university, I also started volunteering and helping out TEDx Calgary. And I was actually running their social media during that time. And I got really excited to helping them out because it's a cause that I believed in. And actually got them trending for one of their events. They were trending all over Canada, and it got me really excited, and I was really happy to do that for them. But this is where things got really interesting on how, when you just help just without expecting anything in return, things can start happening and kind of just those little trickle effects that kind of go that have a positive effect in your life. So from that, from 2013, helping out TEDx Calgary and helping them trend across Canada and then one in their event, and really kind of showing them how you can quantify social media, that they're really happy with me. A couple of years later, I get a call. And at that time, I was just working at a small office supply store, just doing some sales. And I get a call out of the blue saying, "Hey, we heard a lot about you. We heard you're really good with social media, with digital marketing. Would you be interested in working on a project with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, where did you hear my name?" And they're like, "Oh, we actually, someone gave us your name from TEDx Calgary. Weren't you the one helping them in 2013, and you did all this stuff for free and all this stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did help them out. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it." And they're like, "Well, we have a similar project, and we think we'd be a great deal for that. I think we, be a huge asset for the project." And kind of that's how I launched my company from just that. So I wasn't something that I planned. It just kind of happened, and I wasn't really expecting it to happen like that. And then kind of move into 2019, where I get reached. I'm constantly on LinkedIn, and someone reaches out to me saying, "Hey, would you be interested in helping out volunteering for a non-for-profit organization that helps out immigrants, newcomers, and refugees? We just need a guest speaker and talk about their work experience here in Canada." And I was like, "Yeah, I love to, not just because I like to talk, but also my dad was an immigrant. I'm from Peru, came here when I was young, and a lot of people helped my dad. So this is a way I felt like I can give back to the community, to all those people that gave my dad a time of day and helped him where he is today." So I was like, for sure, I'd love to share my experiences and how, help newcomer, immigrant, refugee people here, establish themselves in Canada. And it was a really wonderful experience, and I still volunteer and collaborate and do amazing projects with them today. And for you guys wondering, CCIS stands for Calgary Catholic Immigrant Society, but I just put the acronym there. And then that moves into COVID-19 pandemic, 2020. And of course, all the things that happened, a lot of people were losing jobs. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. I kind of started seeing the market and seeing, man, a lot of people are losing jobs. A lot of companies are going out of business. And I felt like, you know what? A lot of businesses are transitioning digitally. That's what I do for work. I feel like I can help them stay afloat and just offer free services. And that's what I did. I went on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, for the next 3 to 6 months, if anybody needs some kind of free services, we're all going through this, horrible thing. How can we help each other out? I can provide you with some free services. Let's talk," right? From those, opportunities that I just gave out to people, like, "Hey, let me help you out if I can." I actually was approached right after that to start with Supply Chain Canada, because I was offering free help. It gave them a free assessment. They were really happy with it, and then they just brought me on board. And again, I was not expecting any of that. I was just doing it because it was a tough time. Everybody was hurting, and I figured this is my one way I can help and contribute. And then 2021, that's when all those things that I was doing people approach me and they're like, hey, Daniel, we know that you're always volunteering, you're always helping out. Would you be interested in starting a not-for-profit organization? And that really caught me up by surprise. I was like, I had the idea maybe when I was in my 50s, later stages of my life, maybe like semi-retired, but not at this stage. And then when they proposed it, I was like, you know what, this is a great opportunity. I'm really excited about this. Let's see how we can make this work. And then in 2022, we created Catapult Startups, a non-for-profit organization that helps people overcome barriers to launch businesses and SMEs, so startups and SMEs. And again, all those opportunities wouldn't have come if I wasn't willing and happy to help people for free, whether that's having a cup of coffee with them and listening to their experiences, lending an ear, or letting them know, hey, here's how things are done in Canada when it comes to networking, how to approach a potential job opportunity, or how to approach people in a network setting, anything that I could help, any way I could help. And again, I wasn't really expecting anything to return. None of the stuff that I did was because I expected them to come back. I just did it because I enjoyed doing it. But one of the things that happened to me, and you kind of see like a little bit of a blimp, and not really, but it's between I would say 2015 and 2019, I was burning out. And one of the things that I found out was that I want to help people, but I also got to take care of myself. And I put in some guidelines so that I don't get burnt out, and I also, I'm able to help people, and it doesn't conflict with anything that I have going on. And then I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I kind of want to share a couple. Sorry, before I finish this little timeline here, and of course, endless possibilities in the sense that I don't know what the future has hold, but I know that if I continue helping others without expecting anything in return, the opportunities are going to be endless. And that just means endless possibilities. That's how I see it. And here are a couple of quotes, like I kind of resonate with what I'm trying to say, and I think why people, and why it's also important just to offer free help, but also I think we do it for our own maybe selfish reasons. And that is, volunteers not necessarily, so volunteers do not necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. And I think whenever you're going to help somebody out for free, you just want to do it because you're a good person, but also you want to help them out. You want to see other people succeed, and that puts a smile on your face. And there's nothing wrong with that. The other thing is, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And I think that's so true. For me, maybe it's another selfish reason, but I want people to, say good things when I'm long and gone, saying that, hey, Daniel was someone that helped a lot of people and had a good impact in a lot of people's lives. That puts a smile on my face, and that's why I like it, helping others. And the other one, it's your good deeds might seem invisible, but they leave a trail that is imprinted on the hearts of others. And sometimes you feel that how you're helping others, maybe it's just a simple 15-minute conversation, a half an hour coffee somewhere, or an hour of your time, and maybe you feel like, is that enough? I don't know if I'd really help them in any actual way, because sometimes I go back into my business mind things, and I'm thinking, I'm not giving someone a report or a project or something concrete they can take. Did I help them? But a lot of the times it's those small little acts that we don't think have impact they do. And it's really a little bit serendipitous. I got an email last night from one of the newcomers that went to one of the events that we're helping we put together a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to, in that event, connect them with a couple of other individuals. And he just thanked me. He's like, Daniel, thank you for taking the time of day to email me back and connect me with that individual. I really appreciate it. It really made my day, and that made my day. I wasn't expecting that at all. And it was. I almost I feel like I needed it. I was kind of going through a rough day yesterday. So just seeing that email, I was like, man, I'm glad I'm helping people, because I know that individual's going to have, a higher usually success to just finding, a work or finding stability, or again, what they need here in Calgary. And just here's a bit of a guide on providing free help. The first one is help others without expecting anything in return. If you're helping others expecting something in return, it's not going to seem genuine, and you're always not going to give it your all. And if that's the person you are, I have nothing wrong. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but it may not be best for you. But I believe that when you're helping others, you should expect not to expect anything in return. And then the other one needs to more if before you get to help others, you need to help yourselves first. This has happened to me. Sometimes you want to help people as much as you can, but then you don't take care of yourself and your health suffers. And you got to make sure that you are healthy. If you're not good, you can't help others, right? So you need your help. So you need to help yourself first. So then you're able to help other people. The other thing that I do, and this is more for me, my rule, is figure out kind of how many hours a week, a month, a year, you can offer free help to others, and while not overcommitting yourself and burning yourself out. Like I said, I burned myself out between 2019, 2015, those 4 or 5 years, because I think I was doing too much. Maybe saying yes to a lot of things and not saying no. That's kind of what I learned. When you're saying yes to everything, you're also saying no to other things. So it's really being careful and being able to manage your time a little bit better. So one of the things that I did is that for me is I'm okay committing between 10 to 15 hours a month. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 15, but I try to reach that 10-hour average. To me, that makes me happy. I know I'm making an impact on other people's lives and helping out the ecosystem here in Calgary. And it doesn't burn me out, right? And I still feel like I can contribute in whether it's a small way or in a big way. But again, I think setting up rules for yourself, how you can help others, would really help that continue. And so you don't see it as a burden, you don't see it as sporadically, but it almost just becomes a part of your day-to-day, your month-to-month, year-to-year activities. And then the last thing is you can only help people who want to help themselves. And this is I learned the hard way. I've mentored other people and I help other people, and sometimes people, you can be an amazing cheerleader, mentors, give them a lot of advice, but at the end of the day, they need to do it for themselves. You can only do so much. You can only show someone the door. They still got to walk through it. And that's more just saying, it's more just kind of I guess focus on the people that are eager, that are texting you, they're messaging, they're like, hey, can we meet? They're asking for help because you know that your help will be very valuable to them. And there's others that will seek for your help, but then they will be like, okay, I'm good, and I'm okay to do things on my own. But you might sense that, okay, you know what, I still think you might need help. I don't think you're taking the right direction. And I've tried helping those individuals, and it doesn't always work out because they need to ask for the help first. You just can't offer help to people that aren't asking for the help, right? It's not a good thing. And that's some of the things that I kind of found out through helping others and through my different experiences. So again, just to go over the rules, quickly simple. It's help without expecting anything in return. Take care of yourself first, otherwise you can't help other people. Make sure you have some kind of rules, like how many hours you want to help out, a month, a week, a year, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong number. And then help others that want to help themselves. So trust me, those are the best people to work with. And then the last thing is, if you want to connect with me or if you want to send me an email, feel free. I'm always happy to help, always happy to connect with people, and always happy to have a cup of coffee or tea. Or I guess now that it's a little hot, hotter outside, maybe a Slurpee as well. And with that, I will pass it on to Amber.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel. That was really great. I also want to ask, maybe this is like, we'll open the floor for question and answers, but you provided like how you can help, and that was great. But is there anything that like we can do at Rainforest for you? Is there anything we can help you with?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I should have been prepared. That's Craig Ellis always has been prepared. You know what? Definitely connections. Right now, looking to make connections, to make partnerships. We're really focused on our Catapult right now. So if you're looking for, if you're a corporation and you're looking to sponsor a couple organizations, we're looking for corporate sponsorship. That's one. The other thing we're looking for, it's also, we want to expose some of our cohorts, some of the startups that we're helping out to the capital that's out there. And we're trying to make connections with some venture capitalists as well, and just to expose them, be like, hey, here's a wonderful companies that a newcomer, immigrant, refugee community is pumping out. A lot of them have a master's degree. The talent, it's insane. It's a wealth of opportunity, but they're not finding the connection. And it just happens. There's so much out there, right? And it's just making that connection and just seeing the magic happen. So if anybody has contacts with that would be great. And And the other one too, just for fun, if anybody ever wants to talk soccer, I'm more than happy to. I'm a huge soccer fan. So if anybody wants to, get into the world of soccer or anything like that and wants to chit chat about that, I'm more than happy to as well.
That's awesome. Thanks, Daniel. Does anyone have any questions for Daniel? Pete.
Hi, Daniel. Fantastic presentation. Thank you. And you're obviously been speaking from a journey of wisdom, having done that and gone there. So thank you for this. I will follow up, and I think it would be interesting to see which companies you feel are they all not-for-profits and charities that you're talking about, or do you have some that are for-profit that are doing good purpose-driven work?
Oh no, they're so the companies we help out our all for profit. Not for profit, it's not that we don't help out. We usually not for profit companies we partner up with, or not for profit companies we usually tend to identify as social enterprises, and we try to connect them with Innovate Calgary or different kind of not for profit organizations that can help them out within the ecosystem. But I would say the couple of ones. So the two ones that pop to my mind right away. It's one, we're actually creating bank for low-income individuals to help them save money. One of the things, and this is the individual came to me, and I'm probably butchering the sales pitch, but one of the things he identified is that people on average overspend $500, and that's not through their own fault. It's just through payments. It's through the late fees that just add up, and I'll give you a quick little example. Let's say you're a person with a couple of kids and you're by yourself, so you don't have a partner, and you're trying to pay the bills, and for whatever reason you're not on internet, so you got to go to the bank, and the bus is late, and the bus gets there on time, so you can't make it, and then you're late, and all of a sudden you have an extra fee, and there's some things you just can't do. Yeah. What what they're trying to do here is try to, through patterns, make sure that you're able to provide and save a lot more money month to month. And every company and income is different. But what they try to do is they analyze your income and then try to provide you with the proper budget so you can still live a comfortable quality of life, but also let you know when you're reaching certain goals. So it's certain incentives. And again, I'm probably butchering that one. The other one that we have come up that's really interesting one, it's online learning. And this is an individual, he's a serial entrepreneur. And I would say, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, and life sometimes happens. And his name is Manir. He is from Lebanon. And he was a project engineer there. He had a firm. He had to flee there, unfortunately, because of the war in Lebanon. Then he flew to Cyprus. Unfortunately, that thing happened in Cyprus. He had to flee there. But before he had to flee, he also started another engineering firm. It's just another company. But when he had to flee, that's now the second time, and now he came to Canada, he's like, well, you know what? I really got to focus. I have kids, I have family now. I got to focus and take what a lot of immigrants, newcomers, and refugees call survival jobs. Yet they have 15, 20 plus years of experience. Anyways, this individual showed me a working application the first time we met, augmented reality online learning application to teach kids either English or Arabic. He has over 24 language packs set up. The application is already in the Google Store. It's called a Tetar app. It's not even an MVP yet. Well, it's working, but what we want to do is really polish it. But the abilities on that, when he showed us that it's a working application, he owns the API, he owns everything. And he's just like, I just need to help. I just need the connections and know-how, and we're trying to help him out right now, right? And this is just another one. The other one from Griselle is another lady individual, and then I'll step up to this one. She is trying to, right now, create an application that helps immigrants, newcomers, and refugees through the immigration process. And the best way she explained it to me was TurboTax. And I was like, I got it right away. So you know how to use TurboTax, and it just populates everything when you're trying to do your taxes? Same thing if you're trying to do your immigrant process, because right now it's a huge pain point, right? And as soon as she explained it to me, I was like, that has huge implications and has huge value. And there's just some examples right there. But if you want to talk further, I'm happy to connect and share more of that.
Is your email in the chat?
I will put it in the chat.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Great presentation.
No worries, Peter. Anybody else? I type this.
Oh, Tom?
Hello. I was just wondering, I know I hear a lot about burnout these days. I know I've personally had friends and family affected by it, and myself at one point too in a previous role. How long did it take you to recover from that burnout after you kind of changed your environment and your situation? Did you feel there was sort of a lingering effect at all? Or is it
Yeah,
basically once you change your activities, you were back on track?
you know what? That's a very good question. I did feel for like a year that I was off. I don't know if that was because there was something missing, which is the need to help others, or if it's because I felt so detached from what I was trying to do because of the overcommitment and means you're getting over, you're burning out. And that's a really good question. You know, for me, it took me a good year to kind of refocus. I kind of went inwards and kind of wanted to be like, I want to take a year off. I'm still working, but taking a year off from volunteering and helping others, kind of figure out, you know, am I doing too much? And I have a tendency to have tunnel vision, which is good and bad. Good when you're working on a project, bad when you're working on yourself, right? And sometimes you don't look on your and take care of yourself. And I think we all sometimes tends to do that, you know, the older you get. But I think what happened with me was having amazing friends and recognizing that them pointing out to me that, like, hey, Daniel, you're a little off. You know, you're not the same. What's going on, and having those conversations. It helps when you have friends you can talk to, and having a group of friends that I was able to talk to and be like, hey, I enjoy helping others, but I feel bad when I say no. You know, but then I'll get so burned out because then I'm finding out that I'm helping someone on a project that I promised I would help, but I still got to pay the bills, and I'm working on that project that pays the bills, and then it's 2 a.m. And I'm thinking to myself, could I not taken that extra project and gone to bed at, you know, been off by 6 and then had, you know, dinner with my partner and enjoy that and spend time with her, or just relax. And now it's 2 a.m. and now I feel bad. And I'm like, man. And what really got to me was that and what made me take that year off, it was I wasn't seeing my partner enough. I wasn't spending time with her. And now I was affecting family time. And that's kind of one of the things that really hit me hard, because when I was younger, my dad was a workaholic, and he improved how he is work-life balance. And I made sure that I didn't want to do that myself. And I ended up doing that myself when I got older. And it kind of pulled back, and I'm like, hold on a second. What's more important, work or family? And to me, it was family. And I think sometimes we want to help others because like what I said earlier, it's like it makes us feel good, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. Helping others and seeing a smile on their face puts a smile on your face. But at the same time, I feel that it almost gets to a point where you're like, you gotta take care of yourself first, and you know, not spend so much time in the work area. So having good friends, having a good support system helps out, but also be able to be honest with yourself. And some things that got me out of there, as silly as it sounds, and I don't know if it's silly or not, but watching YouTube videos, YouTube motivational videos, YouTube videos about how to getting out of a funk. How to dealing with with work stress, how to have a better work-life balance. Those helped out a lot. And those silly ones that even say, and I don't know if I'm using the proper word, silly, I don't want to put anybody down because I use them, but the ones that kind of say, 7-minute videos or like affirmation videos, like help you relax or breathe, like little things like that help me out a lot. And kind of gave me this answer that I'm like, you know what, if someone help others, but I only have so much time to give, but I can feel that usually I'm working around 50 hours a week, if I'm being honest, because all entrepreneurs don't just work 40. Sometimes it's 40, sometimes it's 60, on average it's 50. I feel I'm comfortable that I can put 5 to 15 hours aside a month, which comes to maybe like an hour every other day, because it's 20 working days that I'm helping out someone. So you know what, that in the long picture, I'm like, I could do that. And all of a sudden, I didn't feel anxiety. I wasn't feeling pressured in it. And I was eager and looking forward to helping others again. And I was looking forward to those meetings instead of almost dreading those meetings because I didn't feel like I was prepared with the proper information. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
Good question. That made me think. That's a good one.
I have an idea for starting a not-for-profit organization. I'm just wondering if you can give some insights into, things that you learned and what you might do differently in that going through that process.
Yeah, no, for sure. First is the first thing we started that really helped us out. We did our 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10-year plan right off the bat. We knew where we were going. We didn't know how to get there, but we knew where we were going. That helped us a lot. Then the second thing we did, we kind of looked at the things that we were not going to do, what we were not going to dabble on, because you can know what you're good at, and that's great and wonderful. But sometimes I think what happens, at least with me sometimes, and maybe other entrepreneurs, organizations, sometimes you feel like you want to do everything because you want to be able to help out everybody. And the best case scenario is you got to focus on what you're good at. But the best exercise to do that is actually to focus on the things that you're not good at. So we kind of focus on those things, and we're like, okay, we're not good at doing all these things, so let's not dabble in that area. This is our space, and this is now within that space. We don't want to do all these things, but let's figure out what we're here to do and how we can help out our community. The third thing we focused on was we don't want to reinvent the wheel. One of the things we identified, there's a lot of not-for-profits that do the kind of the same thing. And to us, we're like, we much rather see partnerships. So we were like, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Sorry, we're not here to do the same thing over and over again. And we wanted to do, add value to what we were doing, and to whatever we were, whether we were helping entrepreneurs, organizations, or businesses, we wanted to add value and not just be a differentiator. Right. And I think once we had those three pillars in mind, everything else kind of came together. After that, the biggest thing that helped out is networking, going to your network and really seeing who can help you. And by I mean who can help you is like who can have a cup of coffee with you and just be like, hey, I'm curious. I'm starting a non-for-profit. How did you do it? I literally had a couple coffees, like at least a good 10, 15, maybe even 20 cups of coffee with individuals, be like, hey, how did you do that? I think I called every single I think I called up Startup Calgary, Platform Calgary, Innovate Calgary. I think I even called organizations that they were like, how did you get my number? And I'm like, oh, I found it. And I just have a question. Can you give me like 2 minutes? But just looking back, it's kind of funny. Some of the organizations, the people that I was talking to, I'm like, I should have done a little bit of better job at looking at the job titles and having a script together. That would have helped me a lot better. But you know what? It was that fearlessness of just going about it and just getting in and executing. I find that a lot of non-for-profits feel that they need to be perfect. Everything's, in place to get going. And I figured it's the same. If you see it the same as a business, of course, the only difference is you're not-for-profit, so you're not making profit. You got to spend everything that comes in. But if you treat it that way, you're still on the mode of execution. So you're trying and learning. And if you're focusing, and if you don't think about making mistakes and you focus on learning, so you're learning and executing. As an entrepreneur or as a business partner or anybody, I think when you hear the word failure, it could be a little dampened in your spirit, and maybe keeps you from, approaching your goal. But if you focus on the word learning, learning and executing as a little psychological trick, and at least for me, it helped. But even if I made a quote unquote mistake, I'm like, oh no, I learned. So now I know how to do it better. Right. So that mindset helped me out a lot. But being comfortable with being uncomfortable helped me out a lot. Like 99% of the things that I'm doing right now, I'm doing it for the first time. I might look like I have experience doing it, but no. Now I'm gotten to be very comfortable being uncomfortable. Because if you're starting a non-for-profit, you're going to be doing things that you haven't done before, because it's your first time doing this. And you're also going to be doing things that you might feel that are out of your skill level. But that's where, if you have a strong team and a strong group of people supporting you, you'll be able to do it. Like, I'm not able to do this if I didn't have a support group with my team. My team is very shy and they very rarely pop out. But again, I wouldn't be able to do anything without my team. Without Steve Blair, Jesse Lyle, those two individuals, if I didn't have them on my team, I could not be doing what I'm doing. but they're in the background, they're working away, they're doing the graphic designing, they're doing the editing, they're building the websites, they're building the MVPs, they're allowing me to do what I do best, and that is talk to government, find out companies and startups, make partnerships with not-for-profits. They're allowing me to do that so they can take care of the rest, right? Because again, it's really, I really like this quote is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go as a team.
Awesome. That's such a great quote.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, and Jeff, I'd be happy to connect if you want to. I put in my email on the chat, so if you want to send me an email and have a coffee, I'd be happy to help you with your not-for-profit. No worries.
I already sent you an invitation on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, maybe we'll get into some networking, but thank you so much, Daniel, for being here and sharing your story and for the awesome conversation. If you can stick around for networking, that would be great. So I'm going to open the rooms and we'll probably have time for a couple, and then we'll come back at 12:55 for community announcements. So if you have any announcements, get those queued up, and yeah, I'm going to open the breakout rooms. So enjoy, everyone. All right. So thanks again, Daniel, for sharing your story with us today and being here. I am going to open the floor to community announcements. For next week, we are going to be at the Bow, and I'm going to throw in the chat. There are some important instructions for that. You have to register if you're going to be there in person. It will be a hybrid event, but if you're going to be there in person, please arrive no later than 11:50 p.m. because we have to be escorted as a group to the top of the Bow. But we'll have Alyssa Amato, and as she shares her story of algae, and we'll be at Calgary Economic Development. So I will throw that in the chat. We also have the Leaders, Innovators, Big Ideas podcast. If you ever wanted to be a host or a guest, that's a great opportunity to share your story, to share someone else's story. It's really easy to do. You can even ask Bridget. She's done so many of them, and it's very easy as well. And there's also a YYC Queer Innovation Meetup, May 25th at 9:30 a.m. at Bell's Cafe. If you are identify as queer, if you work in the innovation sector and you're an ally, please come and join this meetup. Bridget, did you have any announcements?
No, I just really want to stress that next week, I highly, highly, highly encourage you come in person. Calgary Economic Development is leaving the Bow building. Their offices are being moved. So they have graciously offered to host us in the space at the top of the Bow. I went up there with them. It's phenomenal. The views are incredible. Hopefully we're not smoked out and can't see anything, but very gracious offer from them, and we'd really like to show up and just enjoy like the incredible atmosphere. But you cannot get up without a security pass and being escorted to like 3 sets of elevators. So you need to respond to or send us an email to say you will be coming in person, because our Luma registration page does not have the functionality to do this effectively, unfortunately, unlike Eventbrite has other functions. So please join us in person, but please let us know if you are, just so we can make sure to put your name on the list with their security. Which email to register? You can, there we go. Thanks, Amber.
Hi, Amber. I just have a quick announcement. I'd like to invite everyone to our next online webinar with ATCO, Keller Construction, and Lakeland College on building the new energy economy. Get ready. It's June the 7th. At 11:45 Mountain Standard. So we'll have a speaker panel, and then we'll have networking roundtable immediately following. It's free, so join us. Love to see you there.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other community announcements?
Is it virtual, Eva?
Eva, you're on mute there.
Hi, yes, it's virtual. And the invitation's in the chat. And if you drill down to the link, there's a free registration on for the event. And there'll be roundtables right after the 3 speaker panel session, which is 20 minutes. And then we'll have networking roundtable after that, talking about anything that you want. And yes, Keller's hiring. And yes, Lakeland has hydrogen courses and solar courses. And yes, ATCO wants to talk about EVs, infrastructure, what kind of builds that will need to be done and how it will impact communities around you. Pretty cool stuff.
Eva, with your site, where's the registration? Like there's an add to calendar option, but I don't see any like link or to.
Oh, if you go
actually-
to the link that I sent there and you drill down, and it goes to, let me just go to this site and put that in.
Do we have any other announcements at all?
Okay. What I'll do is I'll put that in, I'll put the link right into the calendar date, okay? I'll just add that in because we haven't announced the table mentors yet. And if you're interested in being a table mentor, just email me. I'll just put that into my link.
How's the enrollment for Inventures, Amber?
I think there's lots of people going.
Yeah, we're not involved with organizing it, but everyone we've spoken to is going. We do have a code. If anyone's looking for discounted Inventors tickets, please email us. And one last thing, Daniel, big thank you for sharing so vulnerably today and encouraging everybody to live the rainforest social contract and giving back and paying it forward. We really appreciate working with you on this and all of the other things we work on in the background through the CIC and whatnot. So thank you for being part of the community and being here today. I'd encourage everybody, if you're still here, to bring a friend to Lunch Without Lunch. The last few weeks, we've noticed decreased numbers, and there's also a really high spike in increase of events happening in Calgary these days. And we've talked to a lot of folks who are experiencing a bit of event burnout because of how much is happening. We certainly feel it too. We've got to be in a lot of different places all the time. But we always try to make it as easy as possible to hop on here. And so if you're speaking to people in the community, this is your community. So please, feel free to treat it that way and share all of our socials and whatnot as openly as you can, as they're your own, because they are. And bring some friends to Lunch Without Lunch to share in the experience. And hi, Darshan, nice to have you here. Not to single you out, we met last week. So thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day and week. And hopefully you're gonna come up to the top of the bow with us next week with Algae Foods and Calgary Economic Development.